Hey, hi, hello guys. I am back again. I did promise I would come back with an OnlyFans tips and tricks part 2. I feel like now I can talk on it a little bit more. I have dove into those particular things I mentioned, the collabs, the lives, that sort of thing. So I feel like I can give you a little bit more feedback. We might start off with an update on the lives because I've only done one. Yes, I know, I really should do more, and I can see that there's money to be made there. I just am struggling to find the time between the amount of work that's already going onto that page and also the amount of work that goes into marketing my socials. I think it's getting to a point where I may need to get help with everything. I've also got my in-person work, so yes, anyway, I'm on a tangent. So with the live that I did do, it was essentially a Q&A chatty video. At least in my experience on my live, I got away with talking about a lot more than I can in the comment section. I don't think they have anyone moderating their lives, but our lives, but I might be wrong. For mine, in the moment on screen, I made 100 USD in tips, which I incentivized the boys by saying, you know, to this amount is top off, to this amount is full nude, and I'd assigned myself just 1 hour. I can imagine that if you assign, say, 3 hours, it would probably multiply. It wouldn't just be 300. I can assume it would be more because they only really started to get into it as it progressed. I just hadn't set aside enough time, so that's my bad. So I made the 100 USD in tips from my subs, and then after that I essentially sent the tape out as a pay-per-view for just $10 to anyone who wasn't online at the time. And I think I made about $140 or something like that USD from that, so I must have sold about 14 copies, maybe a bit more considering OF's cut. And also when I posted on my Instagram story that I was doing a live, I think I got around about 10 subs as well, just on the spot within that 20-minute time frame. I think there's quite a market for doing live content that the guys really enjoy. So I think that's why I might have picked up more subs. So in the end there, I made around about 300 USD for that one live. It is great money, but it was a lot of effort and energy, and because I did it late at night, the lighting was terrible. If I did it at this time of the day, you guys can see here, you've got no light on you. This is just a Canon and the natural lighting from my big open windows. So the lighting like this would have looked amazing, but at night, all I've got is a ring light. So that's my update on the lives. I do need to do more of them, and I will report back to you with an update if anything changes there. Now let's talk about collabs, because I have so much to tell you guys about collabs and my experience doing them, okay? And this is not going to be a positive. This is not going to be a positive, guys. I'm really sorry. So at the moment, I am sitting at a percentage, top 0.8 is where I'm at the moment. And a lot of people want to work with me. So it hasn't been hard for me to find creators that will work with me. The issue is finding creators that are safe to work with and that actually care about our health and well-being and are not just doing this as a hobby, okay? We'll start with my female collabs so far, because I have not had a single issue with any of my female collabs. My first one was with a girl named April Rose. I have her on my Instagram if you guys are curious. I have photos with all of these girls on my Instagram feed, and I have them tagged in those photos as well. So April Rose and I did the first collab. I was super nervous because I'd never done one before and I'd never been with a girl before. If you don't know, I do full explicit, full porn on my OF. So we did that tape with April. It went really well. We just did the one in the one sitting. It probably took us maybe 2.5 hours, including us like talking and warming ourselves up and things like that, taking the shot, and then her leaving. And it took me around about 2 hours to do the edit and probably an hour to get that thing in Dropbox, which is what you use to share the content with the other creator so that they can upload it as well. So I did all of that and I sent her through the release forms, which are all done through OF itself. It's really simple. You just pretty much send them a link, they fill it in, send it back to you. So that was all done, easy enough. My next collab was around about 1.5 months later, which was with a male creator. I won't be mentioning the names of any of the male creators. I won't be shouting them out on here. The content went fine. However, I do want to make note that I think it's important for people to be truthful in the industry and to talk honestly about their intentions for the site and their intentions with treating it as a job. Because some people buy followers, some people pretend that they are making more money than they are, and I'm not mentioning any names here, so I'm not doing anything wrong. However, this is something I want you guys to be super, super careful of when working with male creators, okay? Because a lot of them are doing this because they want to get their rocks off. They're not doing it as a job, okay? And just because it says they have a certain amount of followers does not mean that they really do. And just because they tell you that they're in the top 1% doesn't mean they really are, okay? So that tape went okay. I made a lot of money from that tape. I'm not sure if it's appropriate to disclose earnings from a porn video. However, it was definitely worth my time. And that is the main reason that I moved up in percentages. From there, within the same week, I did 2 different collabs with girls. So I worked with a beautiful girl called Blossom Vale. She's also on my Instagram feed, and so is the next girl that I'll mention. So we did 3 fetish tapes all in the one setting, went really well. And then I worked with Jezebel, which we did 2 tapes together, so those are also all up. I had no issues working with either of those girls either. Again, no issues with female collabs at all. So all of that content, so I had 5 videos done in 1 week, and I scheduled those out while I went on tour because I was touring for my in-person work. And I just knew I wouldn't have time to be filming when I had back-to-back tours, so that's what I did. When I got back from my trip, within the same week I arrived back from tour, I filmed with another male creator, and it went really well. He was very professional in what he was doing. So yeah, we had no issues at all, and again, that tape once again did pretty well. Not as well as the first one, but pretty damn well, okay? So I had no issues there. Since then, I have decided that I would prefer and be more comfortable working with one male co-star more regularly, just for my safety. So the issue here is that a lot of men within the industry are not being professional, they're not being serious, and they are exploiting us. And I don't want to play into that, and I don't want to allow these men access to me. So I have found a male co-star. We filmed our first scene 2 days ago, and it went really, really well. We are planning to just continue working with each other for a little while, at least as long as it works. That way I'm going to be more comfortable, and I don't have to be scared about who these people really are and what their intentions are for me, because I have learnt that collaborating with men is actually more dangerous than seeing male clients. Yep, I know, what a sad, sad world we live in. So that is my update for you guys on that, guys. Just make sure that when you are doing any collabs, that these people are contacting you really, really professionally, okay? You don't want anything to be like a late night hookup sounding like you want to come over. They need to be providing you a full test and a picture of those test results, okay? A picture of their letter if they're using Stigma Health, which is what I use, a picture of that letter, or individual screenshots of each test done by Stigma, because they can also do that in the app, and sending them through to you. There should be no reluctance on their end to give you a current test, okay? The industry standard is that this test is done within 2 weeks of your filming, although quite a few creators will request it within 1 week, all right? So keep that in mind. You're not being demanding, you're not doing anything wrong. This is the bare minimum, okay? And you are more than entitled to the bare minimum, girl, okay? So the camera cut out, and I don't know what I was saying, but I know I was on a ramble about collabs. I think I was explaining that you want to make sure these people are being super, super professional in the way that they are contacting you, because if they're not, then they're not treating it as a job. And at the end of the day, it is a job to anyone taking it seriously. Even if they're not making a whole lot of money yet, they're doing it with the intention of making money, okay? So don't ever work with someone who's making you feel uncomfortable, or who is trying to push you to do things without testing, or who is expecting really short notice filming, all right? And don't take anyone's references as the Bible, because I've had a few girls send me really great references for male creators, and then I have reached out to these male creators and they have been incredibly unprofessional with me, talking dirty and like all sorts, and it just shouldn't be like that before a film, okay? So just keep that in mind. I have noticed a massive increase in my income since doing fully explicit content. So yeah, it's definitely been worthwhile for me, but I know that that's not for everybody. Yeah, I've also run quite a few more promotions and sales and things on my subscription prices than I normally would, because a lot of the time I'm getting them in the door on a cheap subscription, but I'm able to sell them like a $35 video or more, so it's definitely worth it for me. I do want to do a bit of an update on here too. This is probably something I should include in this video. On a not so happy note, my content was leaked. None of my videos that I can find so far were leaked. However, about 25 of the images from my feed were and still are at the time of me recording this. They haven't been taken down. This is obviously something that we all need to be mindful of when we're doing this type of work. Just because it's behind a paywall does not mean that it is safe, and doesn't mean that nobody's going to see it unless they've paid for it, okay? People leak content. However, it is a federal crime, and OnlyFans itself has actually been really supportive. They have a team of lawyers looking into it and doing, I believe they're called DMCAs, to have the content taken down at the moment as we speak. I am looking into some different, I think there's sort of apps that can keep our content safe. So I think there's like Brandit, and a few other ones that essentially scan the internet for photos of our faces, anything with our face in it, and we can have it removed for a monthly subscription fee. But I think it's important that we mention that on here, that we mention the realities of it, because if you put this on the internet, it will likely be there forever. So you've got to decide if you can live with that, or if that's going to really impact you mentally. So yes, that's all my update for so far, but I hope it's useful to somebody. Please just be careful with those boy-girl collabs, guys. Please, please. I'm sure there's probably bad female creators out there too, okay? I'm sure there's probably been people who've been assaulted and things like that from female creators, but I just want you to be particularly vigilant with male creators, because in my experience, that's where the danger has been, okay? If you say you do not want to do a particular thing in a scene, if you say you're not comfortable with something, if you say you prefer not to, or you might want to do it at a future date but you don't want to do it that day, and they just continue to push you until you do that content, that's not consent, babe. It's not consent, okay? And if you have had issues with any male creators within Australia, please feel free to reach out to me. If you feel that you need to talk to somebody else about it, or you want to warn other girls, because my inbox, as much as you'll go to request, it is always open. It may take me a week until I find it, but I do generally keep an eye on it to see if there are any people, any girls who really need me. But yeah, be careful please, girls. Stay safe, and I hope you all have a great day.